Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd. We're back from Galveston now, but while we were gone, there was, while I'm recording this, there is a caterpillar crawling over my microphone. I've never seen anything like that quite before. He's not bothering anything. I don't seem to think that there's anything wrong with that. But it's kind of funny. How did you get in here? We see the end of the war between the Narn and the Centauri. The Centauri, of course, were victorious in this, thanks to help from the shadows. Little do the Centauri know that that's what it was. In fact, Londo has only seen a shadow ship in dreams, so it is somewhat telling just exactly why he's having those dreams. But at the same time, he entered into this agreement with Mr. Morden, not really knowing what he was getting himself into. He thought that it would be a good way to help recolonize some of the worlds that they'd lost, but did not realize it would be such a sadistic extermination of so many of the Narn. However, he has held tight on his government's position and now has quietly told Mr. Morden, we've had enough of your help. We don't want that anymore, trying to assuage his conscience at least a little bit. Morden basically responds by saying, well, we've got what we want out of this anyway. Just do not go beyond this line. This part of the galaxy belongs to us. That part of the galaxy you can do with as you want. Meanwhile, there is a planet on the border which is a place where rangers are being trained, and there is a new character that's introduced who is there to tell Sheridan and Delenn that they need help in freeing these rangers. They have been subject to a blockade by the Centauri. They need to break the blockade and get these rangers out. And so we are introduced to a new ship, which is of Minbari and Vorlon technology, unknown to most of the Minbari government. It is a work of the religious caste who also provide much of the crew for this. They need Sheridan because he's a great tactician to be in command of this, and he proves himself very well in this episode. We also find out in this episode that Ivanova is very good at getting information, while Sheridan was apologetic for having not read her in on the detail about the Rangers. She actually knew all of that already and explained that there's nothing on this station that goes on that I don't know about. Also, we have a little bit on Garibaldi when he is escorting a intelligence agent from Earth Central. He's asked a question by the agent, and Garibaldi says, well, I'm not authorized to know this. And he said, well, how can you be chief of security? And he says, well, there are certain things I don't let myself know. Certain things that I don't tell myself. Knowing myself would be too much of a problem. And therefore, it was a matter of Garibaldi's singular sense of humor. It was always good to see. Anyway, what the agent finds out is that not really anybody knows about the shadows, and that's perfectly good to Mr. Morden, who is now on Earth negotiating with the Earth Central people, which is to say that the Earth may be on the shadow side of the Shadow War, which is a bad thing happening. Now, one of the good things that we have said for a long time about this show is, of course, that it is written all ahead of time. J. Michael Straczynski wrote this like a novel, and each season is another year and another chapter in the book. So Chapter 3, which is the year 2260, is after the Centauri War with the Narn, and now the beginning of the Shadow War with most of the rest of the races. Now, we've seen somewhat of Ambassador Kosh, which Sheridan tries to pin down as to why, when he left his environmental suit to save Sheridan's life at the end of last season, why everybody saw somebody different. Kosh was, as usual, rather diversionary in his answer. And so as much as we have found out about Kosh, much of it doesn't matter. And he's pretty happy about that idea. All in all, it looks like a very good season is in the offing, because we're going to have a whole lot more involvement between Delenn and Lennier and Sheridan and Ivanova. And I think that this is a good part of the cast. They all have their own interesting ways of acting and reacting that I think is going to make some very good stories, even with without looking at what kind of action sequences there will be. The version of the show that we're seeing, of course, is the one before they enhance the special effects. So it is still rather rough in the special effects department. It was made in standard definition. The effects were not the highest even for that time. The show was, of course, made to be able to work on a budget. So that's something that takes away a little bit, but still the ideas behind it are very solid. The writing is very solid. The acting is very solid. And we, of course, will see more of Mollari and G'Kar and Vir and Garibaldi, but perhaps in different ways than we've seen before. So that's the beginning of Season 3, and the building blocks are starting to be put in place for what is to be the Great War. So we hope that you'll be around, as we will, to review it for you. So please subscribe if you have not done so already. Thank you for joining us, and leave any comments that you have below. We always enjoy reading that. Tomorrow we'll have Deep Space Nine, and then we have the finale of Doctor Who will be next Monday. So all of these things are upcoming. I haven't decided yet whether we're going to continue on with The Acolyte, but episodes 2 and 3 have already come down, so we will be looking that over and seeing what we can do with it. So thank you for joining us. Until next time, don't go far.